One day, your heart will beat for the final time. No more plans, no more excuses, no more distractions, just silence. And then, your eyes will open in another realm. And standing before you won't be a friend, a teacher, or even a pastor. You'll be face to face with Jesus Christ himself, not as a savior, but as the judge. This isn't a metaphor. It's not religious symbolism. It's real. It's personal. And it's already scheduled. Hebrews 9:27 says, "It is appointed unto man to die once, and after that, judgment." There will be no second chance, no one to defend you, no hiding behind religion, tradition, or reputation. Just you and him. And when that moment comes, he won't begin by asking about your job title, your social media following, or how many good deeds you think you did. He'll ask you 3 eternal questions, and how you answer them will determine your eternity. This message may be the most important one you've ever heard, because the final question, the one we'll reveal in Part 5, is the one most people never think about. And yet, it's the one Jesus will care about the most. So please, whatever you do, don't click away. I'm not asking for a favor. I'm pleading for your soul. Stay with me to the end of this video, because what you'll hear in the final part may not just change your perspective, it may literally save your soul. And if your heart is already stirring, even just a little, drop a comment right now that says, "I want to be ready." Like this message so it reaches someone who needs it. And subscribe so your soul stays anchored to truth when the world around you falls apart. There is a day marked on God's calendar. You won't find it on your planner. You won't be warned with a phone alert. But it's real, it's coming, and nothing, not money, fame, health, or religion, can postpone it. The Bible calls it the judgment, and whether we believe it or not doesn't change its certainty. Romans 14:10-11 tells us plainly, "For we will all stand before the judgment seat of God, so then each of us will give an account of ourselves to him." Let that sink in. Each of us. Not just pastors, not just criminals, not just the obviously broken or the outwardly holy. All of us. Teenagers, CEOs, stay-at-home moms, retired veterans, Instagram influencers, the person in the pew, and the one who's never stepped foot inside a church. On that day, you won't be able to bring your resume. You won't have a lawyer standing beside you. You won't be able to say, "But my parents believed," or "I tried to be a good person." It'll just be you and God, face to face, heart to heart. And when he opens the book of your life, every thought, every word, every motive, every moment, you won't be able to spin it. There will be no hiding, no pretending, no polishing. Revelation 20:12 says, "And I saw the dead, great and small, standing before the throne, and books were opened, and the dead were judged according to what they had done." It's not just about what you did, it's about why you did it. God won't just judge your behavior, he'll search your motives. The real you will stand before the real him. And that's not said to scare you, it's said to prepare you. Because here's the truth, if you know Jesus now, you don't have to fear that moment. You can stand with peace, not panic, hope, not horror, confidence, not confusion. But you do have to be honest with yourself and with him. Because when that day comes, what matters most isn't how the world saw you. It's how God sees your heart. And the very first question he'll ask on that day is the one that changes everything. So let's go there now. gently, but truthfully. What did you do with his son?
When you stand before God, there will be no question more personal, more eternal, and more unavoidable than this one. What did you do with my son? Not, did you go to church? Not, were you a good person? Not even, did you believe in me generally? But, what did you do with Jesus? See, this question goes deeper than religious performance. It cuts past appearances. It reaches beyond what others thought of you and asks, did you know him? John 3:18 tells us clearly, whoever believes in him is not condemned, but whoever does not believe is condemned already because he has not believed in the name of the only Son of God. This isn't about head knowledge, it's about heart surrender. Because knowing about Jesus isn't the same as knowing him, and admiring his teachings isn't the same as trusting his sacrifice. Let's pause and be honest. If Jesus looked into your eyes right now and asked, "What have you done with me?" what would you say? Some would answer, "I tried to be a good person." They gave to charity. They avoided crime. They treated people with kindness. But Jesus will say, "Your good works could never pay for your sin. Only my blood could do that." Romans 3:23 says, "All have sinned and fall short of the glory of God." No one earns heaven. It's not a paycheck. It's a gift. Others might say, "I went to church. I volunteered. I even led a Bible study." And those things are good, but they don't replace a relationship. Matthew 7:22-23 warns us, "Many will say to me on that day, 'Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name?' Then I will tell them plainly, 'I never knew you.'" Knowing about Jesus isn't enough. He's looking for people who received him, who trusted him, followed him, surrendered to him. Then there's the one who says, "Lord, I knew you needed me. I believed in you. I gave you my life." Not perfectly, but sincerely. Not religiously, but personally. And to them Jesus will say, "Well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of your Lord." That's what salvation looks like. Not performance, not perfection, but personal faith. 1 John 5:12 puts it like this, "Whoever has the Son has life. Whoever does not have the Son of God does not have life." So, right now, let me ask you, do you have him? Not, do you believe in God? Not, were you raised in church? But, do you have Jesus? If your answer is yes, keep walking with him. But if your answer is unclear, or if your heart is unsure, listen closely, because you still have time. The invitation is still open, and what you do next could echo forever. But before we talk about how to respond to that invitation, we need to go one step deeper, because after God asks, "What did you do with my son?" he will ask something just as personal, but far more practical. What did you do with what I gave you? Let's talk about that.
After Jesus asks, "What did you do with me?" he'll ask something else, something quieter, but just as revealing. What did you do with what I gave you? Because whether you realize it or not, your life has been filled with gifts. Your time, your energy, your voice, your money, your mind, your influence, even your pain. None of it was random. None of it was earned. Everything in your hands was placed there by God. The question is, did you use it for him or just for yourself? In Matthew 25, Jesus tells a powerful story. A master gives 3 servants a different amount of talents, money, opportunities, responsibility, not equally, but intentionally.
One receives 5, another 2, another 1. The master goes away, and when he returns, he asks for an account. The first 2 took what they had and multiplied it. The third buried his, out of fear, out of laziness, out of self-protection. And that was enough to lose everything. Luke 12:48 says, "To whom much is given, much will be required." But don't misunderstand. God isn't comparing you to someone else. He's not asking, "Did you have as much as her?" or "Were you as gifted as him?" He's simply asking, "What did you do with what I gave you?" You may not have a stage, you may not have a title, but you have something, and God sees how you use it. Some people bury their gifts in fear, afraid they'll fail. Others bury them in comparison, thinking, "I'm not good enough." Still others bury them in selfishness, chasing their own platform while God's kingdom is ignored. But on that day, there will be no excuses. Because the truth is, you didn't need a spotlight. You just needed a willing heart. Romans 14:12 says, "Each of us will give an account of ourselves to God." Think about that. A gifted musician who only plays for fame. A brilliant mind who only builds their own brand. A compassionate soul who never takes the step to serve. And then, a mother quietly raising her children to know Jesus. A janitor who prays over every hallway he cleans. A barista who shares kindness with broken people every day. The world may never know their names, but heaven does. Because God doesn't measure success the way we do. He's not impressed with the size of your ministry. He looks for faithfulness in the small things. So let me ask you, have you buried your gifts, or are you multiplying them? Are you waiting for the perfect time to serve, or are you using what you already have? Because one day, the Master will return. And when he does, he won't ask, "Did you go viral?" He'll ask, "Were you faithful?" And after he asks about your faith and your faithfulness, he'll ask one final question. Not about performance, not about knowledge, but about love. Let's talk about that next.
After he asks what you did with his son, and what you did with what he gave you, Jesus will ask one more question. A question that has nothing to do with platform, nothing to do with position or power, but everything to do with love. How did you treat the least of these? In Matthew 25:31 through 46, Jesus gives us a glimpse of the final judgment. He says the Son of Man will gather all nations before him, and like a shepherd, he'll separate people as sheep and goats. To the sheep, he'll say, "Come, you who are blessed by my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you." And why? Because I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me a drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me. And when the righteous ask, "Lord, when did we do those things for you?" Jesus will say, "Whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did it to me." That's the hidden test, the quiet question, the face of Jesus hidden in the broken. He doesn't say, "You did it for them." He says, "You did it for me." Every orphan, every widow, every addict, every forgotten soul. He identifies with them. He dwells among them. And how we treat them is how we treat him. This isn't about posting your generosity. It's not about giving when the cameras are rolling. It's about real, messy, often unseen love. 1 John 4:20 says,
If anyone says, "I love God," but hates his brother, he is a liar. You can't claim to love God and ignore the very people he loves most. So ask yourself, when's the last time you loved someone who couldn't give you anything back? When's the last time you served without recognition? When's the last time you saw someone in pain and didn't just look away? Because love isn't soft music and pretty words. Love is action. Love is interruption. Love costs something. And Jesus notices. Not the stage, not the speech, not the followers, but the moments when you made space for someone who felt invisible. So when he looks at your life, will he see love? Not perfect love, not performance love, but real love. Love in motion. Because in the end, the divide won't be between the successful and the unsuccessful. It will be between those who loved him in the faces of others and those who didn't. And that brings us to the final, most revealing question, the one that ties everything together. Let's go there now.
After all the questions, after your faith has been examined, after your gifts have been measured, after your love for others has been weighed, there's still one final question that ties it all together. And it's this: did love live in you? Not just love for your family, not just polite kindness, but the kind of love that flows from God Himself. 1 Corinthians 13 puts it plainly: if I speak in the tongues of men or of angels, but have not love, I am only a noisy gong. If I give all I have to the poor, but have not love, I gain nothing. Nothing. You can preach, you can sing, you can memorize scripture, build ministries, and impress crowds. But if love didn't live in you, eternal love, sacrificial love, holy love, then everything else was noise. Because in the end, God is love. And if He lived in you, love should have too. Love that sees people, love that forgives, love that reaches across pain, across fear, across differences, love that stays. Galatians 5:6 says, the only thing that counts is faith expressing itself through love. Let that sink in. Not status, not strategy, not skill. Faith expressed through love. So ask yourself, did I just believe, or did I love? Did I just perform, or did I pour myself out? Because on that day, when the books are opened, Jesus won't just be looking for what you did. He'll be looking for what you carried. Did you carry His heart? Did His love live in your words, in your choices, in your daily, ordinary life? And if your answer is yes, then press on, my friend. Keep loving, keep serving, keep forgiving. You are ready for that day. But if your heart hesitates, if your answer is silence or shame or uncertainty, I have good news. It's not too late, because Jesus is not asking these questions to condemn you. He's asking them to call you home. And that home, your real home, is still open, right now. So don't run from His voice. Run toward it. Because today can be the beginning of a new answer, one you'll never regret for all eternity.